Okay, locking cells in Excel. It's confusing as hell. That's really the bottom line. It all boils down to this. If I come down here to the Review tab and I click on the Review tab, I've got over here the Protect section, and right here I've got Protect Sheet. When I click on that, it'll bring up this little dialog box, which I can put a password in. I don't put a password in. The reason I don't put a password in there is because I'm just trying to keep myself from making a mistake on my spreadsheet or erasing a formula by accident, etc. And I don't want to have to remember a stupid password. Obviously, if it's something that's sensitive, then you can put a password in. But then you just take the defaults. And I'm not going to explain that, but just take the defaults and say OK. Now what happens is the sheet is actually protected. It's a toggle, just toggles on and off, which you've probably already figured out. But if I click on any one of the cells and I try and put something in, I can't. And the reason why that is because I protected the sheet. Now, how do I fix that? I'm going to unprotect the sheet for a second here. And I'm going to come here and I'm going to select this cell. Actually, I'm going to select some cells that I want to have access to. So I'll select these two cells here. And then if I right click on it, I can format cells, select format cells. You've probably seen this a million times, right? This is the attributes or all of everything that's been selected, right? Everything that happens, you've formatted it, you've aligned it, you've whatever, you know what I'm talking about. But this last one here is protection. And you can see by default that they are locked. Every cell in all spreadsheets are locked by default. So what we want to do is we want to actually unlock them. Now you may be asking the question, well, if it's locked by default, why is it we're able to enter into spreadsheets? The reason why we're able to enter into spreadsheets is because nobody toggled this before, like I just did. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to unlock it. I'm going to say OK. Then I'm going to toggle this again from Protect Worksheet to Unprotect Worksheet. I'm going to take my defaults and I will now be able to put in there, let's see, 042424 tab and or enter, and it goes right down to the next place, and I can put in there whatever I'm going to put in there, right? Now this next, if I wanted to enter in here, I can't. And the reason why is because I didn't change it from the default of locked. And I toggled this to protect the sheet, right? So let me unprotect it. We'll leave this like this is. Now let's just select the rest of these cells. And we'll right click, select format cells. There's a shortcut that I just used, which is Control and the number 1 on your keyboard. Control and the number 1. That'll take you right here. It's automatically on the protection because that's the last thing I used. But I'm going to unprotect those cells. These are the ones that I have selected, so I'm changing the attributes or the formatting for those cells that I have selected. I'll say OK to that. Then, excuse me, and I'll come down to this. I'll hit my Control 1 again. I'll unprotect these. I'll select the hourly rate. Control 1, I'll unlock that. And then I'll select these last two here. And I'll unlock those as well. Now watch what happens when I come over here to, remember, Review, Protect Sheet. And I'm going to toggle it. Again, I'm not going to put a password in here. I'm going to take the defaults. I'm going to say OK. And now, when I select this, I worked on the second and the third. I put in 3 hours and blah, 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 blah. And when I hit enter, watch what happens. This is a cool effect. It just goes right down to the next field, which is pretty neat. The 5th and the 6th, and I worked 5 hours and blah, 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 blah. enter, 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 enter. Now, it didn't jump down to these, but it's pretty good about doing that. I had in 2 hours of admin or whatever. I don't put anything there. 2 hours. 20 $20 an hour, and total miles is 235, and tolls is $2, right? I can't enter in anything else like these. If I try to enter in any of these, it's going to complain. So I can't mess up the formulas now. No way, heck or way at all. So that's how it works. The beautiful thing about not putting a password in there is if you ever have to talk somebody through this, you can tell them go to the review tab and unprotected, and then you can come in here and you can make changes. Okay? Let me know if you have any questions. Talk to you later.